An introduction to Vedanta, the more sort of Vedanta Mickey Mouse, so that it just works your muscles so that when the real Swamis come here and talk about Vedanta, then it becomes a little bit easier for you. Okay? And really one of the great things about one of the notions of Vedanta that I talked about yesterday, I started talking about the fact that Vedanta comes from the knowledge section towards the end of the Vedas. The Vedas are these texts, essentially carved up into 4 sets of Vedas, and they deal with all the rule books of life, how to really conduct your life initially for all the material things in life, because everybody is initially concerned with material things, and then to try and come to the realization that materialism alone is not going to make you happy. And then it points the path towards what will make you eternally happy, and that goes towards the end of the Vedas, and the Ved Anta meaning the end of the Vedas, contain the Upanishads, and within the Upanishads are the texts. And there's about 10 Upanishads that we generally study a great deal out of the 108 that have survived. And there are many more that have been destroyed in time because they were written down on parchment. Initially, they were just transferred verbally through the parampara tradition of guru to student. Then the student becomes a guru and passes it down the line. We tend to study these 10, and most of the commentaries, as they're known, the descriptive text describing these Upanishads, come from a great learned monk, Adi Shankara, in the 8th century. So he actually wrote down a lot of the descriptive text, because if you just read the Sanskrit of the Upanishads, there's no way that you're going to follow it. So he did a great deal to do that, but that was over 1,000 years ago, and much of what we do now is based on his understanding. He died at the age of 32, and just a great scholar throughout his life. He did the entire Upanishads by the time he was 8. So, I'm sorry, but we are a bit slower than that. So, but we'll get there. Maybe another life or 2, but we'll get there. All right. So, welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying the festival. It's lovely to have you here. So, the Vedanta tells us 3 basic things which all seem highly improbable. Right? In fact, they seem to be absolutely impossible. First of all, it says that the concept that you have of yourself as this limited being, this tiny little creature in the entire world, let alone here in Beale Park, but England, the earth, the universe, you're an insignificant little speck that you are with your limited power and so forth. Vedanta says that that is not true. You are actually an unlimited, immortal being. And you look at yourself in the mirror and say, not this morning, right? But that's one of the things that we have to find out. The second thing that says this world that you think is material, that everything has a touch and feel, is separate from you. This world is actually not real. And that's the part that we shall go over this morning. What does it mean when it says that this world is not real? It's not an illusion. The world doesn't say that it's an illusion. It just says it's not real. And the third one that says that many people think that there is this great being in the sky and he's directing all these things, and we just happen to be here, and he places a plant there and a person here and makes this one happy and this one sad and all those things. We think of ourselves as tiny and this godlike person to be enormous and separate from us. And Vedanta says, no, there is only one underlying reality, and you are that. There is no separation between you and what you might consider a universal power or God. So these are the 3 things, almost the 3 major beliefs that we've had in life get shattered by Vedanta. And that's your opening to Vedanta, and then it says that I'm not going to teach you by preaching to you for you to believe. This is not faith. Vedanta is not faith. All right? I'm going to teach you so you come to know for yourself. Because that's the only way that knowledge can be conveyed. And that's what Vedanta does. So, one of the things that we have to understand is that we look at the world from a single perspective, and that is me, the I. Everything that we look at, everything is a relative to this I. Since you experience the world from this I, you have to understand who the I is. Okay? Because everything else starts from that. In fact, everything that you come to know, you come to know as through a means of knowledge. You'll hear this term all the time in Vedanta, a means of knowledge. If I see something, if I see my glasses, the means of knowledge is vision. Right? I'm the knower, this is the known, and I come to know it through a means of knowledge which is vision. And typically, most of the things that we come to know about come through our five senses. You can hear me now through means of knowledge is hearing. Right? And of course you can touch, smell, and so on and so forth. So everything that we come to know in the world comes to us through a means of knowledge. It means that everything we come to know is indirect knowledge. Indirect in the sense that we have to perceive it, and then we consider it whether it is true or not in our minds. If you think about it, everything that you're seeing me now, right? And you say, Ram's sitting there, come to an awful lot of conclusions to come to that Ram is sitting there. What you're seeing is that the light that is reflected off me is coming in through your eyes, through the back of your retina, and I'm 1/4 of an inch upside down in the back of your eyes. All right? But that's not what you see, is it? Then it goes down the visual cortex as some electrical signals, but that's not what you see. It goes into the visual cortex of your brain, and suddenly there's an image there that's being played out in your mind. And you equate that to a male, you equate that from memory to Ram, you put it all together and say, Ram is sitting, right? And you do that for sofa, you do that for carpet, the tent, the whole lot, right? It's all a perception in your head. It's like the whole world is being played out as a movie in your mind. We think the world is out there, but we have no idea what is out there. The only thing we can see is what we play in our minds. Okay? We think what we see in our minds is what is out there. And that's the delusion. Right? So you have to understand, first of all, that what you're seeing is what you're seeing in your mind. And therefore, if your mind doesn't work incredibly well, for instance, you're colorblind, then you'll see in black and white. The world may not be in black and white, but that's what you'll see. Right? A bumblebee may see infrared or ultraviolet. We cannot. Right? A radio can perceive radio waves. We cannot. So there are things happening out there that we have no idea about. I can't sit here and pick up Radio 4 because I don't have the ability to do so. But Radio 4, I know, is out there. Right? And in order to do that, I need a means of knowing. And I am the knower. Right? I am the knower. I use a means of knowing in order to know things in the world. Easy? It's very logical. It's very simple, really. There's no trick to it at all. So I am the knower. So I now need to know who is the knower. So I come to know that everything exists as a means of knowledge, and because it's being translated by me as it gets played out in my head, right? I have some doubt. I see that the sky is blue, right? I came up all my life thinking the sky is blue, and then some physics teacher says that the sky has no color. All right? It just dampens your enthusiasm, doesn't it? And you go through your entire life and saying that the sun rises in the east, it travels across this place which must have a ceiling because the sun doesn't appear to disappear. It just goes along the ceiling a little bit and goes and sets, and somebody spoils your vision by saying the sun doesn't move at all. We're the ones actually moving. There is no ceiling. There is no diamonds in the sky that are sparkling. I mean, all your illusions are shattered as a result of knowledge. So whenever we come to know something, there is some doubt. And doubt is good, because doubt allows you to explore the understanding further. If you're absolutely certain about something, you're never going to explore something. Right? So if I say, do you exist? And you say, yes. Some of you this early in the morning probably will say, probably. All right? But yes, I exist. Now, since everything is known through a means of knowledge, how do you know that you exist? What is the means of knowledge by which you know that you exist? And you rack your brain, you say, well, it's not perception. I mean, it's if I look at myself in the mirror, I see an image, and I know that image is playing out in my brain, and I know that I must be the knower of the image that's in my brain. So it's not through perception. Perhaps it's through inference, right? I'm married, and women are very smart people. They don't marry dead people. So therefore, since I'm married and my wife has married me, I must exist. All right? But remember, I mean, in order to have got married, you needed to get down on one knee and at least say, I love you, will you marry me? So you must have existed before you got married. So the existence came beforehand. I exist because of my memory. All right? I know that I exist. I've existed for a long time. I remember myself existing as a child and growing up. But you must have been present before the memory came. So you existed prior to the memory. So by what means of knowledge do you know that you exist? You come to the conclusion, there is no means of knowledge by which I know I exist. I just know I exist. It is self-evident. It is the only thing in the world that requires no means of knowledge. It is the starting point from which you can have a reference to the world. There is no means of knowledge by which you come to know yourself, because you are that ultimate knower. There's nothing behind you that says, oh, Ram exists. You know that you exist, and this thing is called self-evident. This is a known, and it's what I call the first nail of the blancmange on the ceiling. To keep a blancmange on the ceiling is very tricky, but once you get the first nail in, you're going to have a chance to keep the blancmange on the ceiling. And the first nail is that you have a categorical knowledge that you exist. And once you can put this down as a stake, now you can refer to the world. Does that make sense? So, in order, and then the Upanishad says that you exist is the underlying reality. It is Brahman. You say, well, it's been tough so far realizing that it's self-evident that I exist, but you're now telling me that existence is the underlying reality. Right? And that I am that underlying reality. I find that a little bit difficult to take. So we need to now, once you have this doubt, you can start to explore. And Vedanta is all about this exploration. So it comes in three forms. Right? First of all, it's you actually hear what is being said. It's very important that when you hear something new, that you temporarily put down what you know to one side. You put your ego to one side. There'll be time for analysis later. If you hear something through a filter of your current knowledge, then you'll only take in something that you already know. You'll never learn. Because when something new comes to you, it says, oh no, that doesn't relate to what I already know, what I already believe. And therefore you will discount it before it's had any chance for absorption. So, first of all, you need to hear everything to a level with which you could paraphrase it later if required, to guarantee that you've heard it as it was said. Right? The second stage comes the analysis. I hear what you say, but I have some questions. I have some doubts. And that's where the teacher-student relationship starts coming. And the student asks questions, and the teacher responds in order to make that initial knowledge your knowledge. And many of the Upanishads are therefore a two-way conversation between the student and the teacher in order to make you understand what is going on. Okay. And when you have eliminated all of your doubts, then the third stage, nididhyasana, where in contemplation you absorb that knowledge and make that your knowledge. Doesn't matter whether other people believe it or not. You've heard it, you've analyzed it, you've had your questions and doubts answered, now it becomes your knowledge. This is the way knowledge is acquired. Most people fall at the first stage because they've gone through life acquiring enormous amounts of knowledge, right? And it filters anything new that's coming in. So always listen to someone and say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to listen, subject to future verification. Remember that. So listen to something subject to future verification because I am going to quiz you about it. But I want to know, first of all, what it is that you've said. And then I'll quiz you, and when you've answered all of my questions, and I don't have any more doubts left, then I'm willing to think about it deeply in meditation. I'm willing to act it out in my lifetime. I'm willing to live that knowledge so that that knowledge becomes. Okay? Simple enough. Okay, so once we've figured out that I am the ultimate knower, we have to figure out who this I is. All right? So, this I in Vedanta, in Sanskrit, is called Atma. Right? A-T-M-A, Atma. And everything else that is not I is called Anatma. Right? Easy? So, the I is Atma, the not I is Anatma. So, Atma, right? Anatma. Everybody gets it? Right? Easy, really. You can now split the word only into two things, two categories. Whatever is you and whatever is not you. All right? The problem is, this is Atma, and that is Atma, because you can each put your hand to your chest and say, Atma. Right? So what is Atma to me is Anatma to you. Okay? So, because each of you will say Atma, all right? And each of you will say everything but me is Anatma. Now this is, have we got many Atmas? There's some confusion and doubt here. We have to sort this out. All right? So, what is Atma to me appears as Anatma to you. What is Atma to you appears as Anatma to me. The I and the not I. So where does the I stop and the not I begin? If you're the I, where does the I stop and the not I begin? And people, most of the time, we said a little bit about this yesterday, most of the time people think that's the skin, right? I, the ring, not I. Very easy, all right? The problem is that if I see my hand, I can see my hand through a means of knowledge, vision. The hand is seen, the means of knowledge is vision, I am the seer. Right? So the hand is an object. An object is anatma, because the subject is me. Right? If you say, I have a car, you're not going to say, I am the car. You're going to say, I'm the owner of the car. It's something that you have, something that you possess. A hand is something I possess. The hand is not me. I know it through a means of knowledge, which is my vision. So what started off as the skin being a nice borderline from the me and not me, from the I and not I, suddenly you come to realize that the body actually may be not I, because I come to know that the body exists through a means of knowledge. Perhaps I'm the mind. I think. I have a thought. I'm sad or happy. All right? The sadness or happiness is known through a means of knowledge, known through thinking. I'm the knower of the sadness. I know that I'm sad because sometimes I know that I'm happy. I'm the knower. The happiness and sadness is an object. I'm Atma. The sadness or the happiness is Anatma. Okay. Gets deeper. Told you. These courses get deeper. So at this level, when I look at you, I'm not looking at Atma, you. I'm looking at your body, you. That is Anatma. I'm looking at your expressions that come through your emotions and your memory. Anatma. I don't see an Atma in front of you. You don't see the Atma that is me. What you're seeing is Anatma. And what the Upanishad says is that Atma is not something within you, but because it's the one underlying reality, it is the thing that we're all in. It's not within you, you are within it. That Atma and yourself are the one underlying reality. And this reality thing is quite troublesome because a lot of people in Vedanta are told that the world is an illusion. All right? The world isn't an illusion. I got up this morning, brushed my teeth. If it was an illusion, I wouldn't have done that. All right? The world is not an illusion. It's material. You're sitting down. The floor is perfectly hard. It's tangible. It's useful. It's transactional. Vedanta says it's just not real. Right? And you say, Ram, I'm having problems here. I think the world is pretty real. Right? Why isn't it real? Because the definition of reality in Vedanta is something that appears in all periods of time. It is constant in all periods of time. In the past, the present, and the future. Alright? When you look around in the world, every blade of grass out there is tangible, it's material, it's useful, it's pretty, but it doesn't exist in all periods of time. It wasn't there before it came, it is now, and at one time it'll go away. It is transient. Alright? Every object, this tent, it wasn't here on Monday, it's now, next Monday it'll be gone. Alright? It's transient. For all the world it matches our definition of reality. But reality in Vedanta means something that is constant. Right? Otherwise, you'd have to qualify it. This happens to be a tent that's in place during this period of time. And we don't do that. We say, it's the tent, all right? And we do that for all objects. And you need to start having a slightly different thinking process about how you relate to objects. Because this is really, when you think about it, an object, any object has two fundamental aspects to it. One is that it has an intelligent cause. If you have an object, then some intelligence created that object. And the other thing is that it has a material cause that it's made out of something. So if we take this wooden table, classic example. How many of you came to my classes last year? How many of you came last year? So you could do this bit, right? So, wooden table, as I said before, it's as close as IKEA gets to a wooden table, but let's say, for all intents and purposes, this is a wooden table, all right? It has an intelligent cause. Let's say the carpenter put it together, all right? So the carpenter made the table, and that's the intelligent cause for the table coming into being, and then the cause of the table, the material cause, is wood. Everybody understands? So when you have a blade of grass out there, you could say the intelligent cause would be the DNA structure that created the blade of grass, right? And you could say the material cause would be the celluloid structure of the grass itself. Becomes clear? So if you have a golden necklace, then the jeweler is the intelligent cause, and the gold is the material cause. Everybody follow that? Right? So everything in the world appears to have these two causes. And Vedanta talks about that everything in the world is not an illusion, it's an effect. And all effects have a cause. You know, as Julie Andrews sings, nothing comes from nothing. Do you remember the song in Sound of Music? Nothing comes from nothing. Nothing ever could. All right? So all effects must have a cause. You can't just go, boom, and you get a tree. Right? It has a cause. And this cause falls into two categories of an intelligent cause and a material cause for it to come into being. So we have this cause and effect relationship that affects every single item that you can see in this world. The world that we call real. Now Vedanta says most causes have a different intelligence and a material. So tailor is the intelligent cause of the shirt, and the material cause is cotton. Put the two together, they become the shirt. It's interesting that when you have the shirt, you cannot separate out then the material cause and the intelligent cause. Right? But it's contained within the shirt. As these examples are just examples of objects in the world, you have to then equate it to the entire world. A wooden table is often used. Another classic one is a pot. Let me see if I got one. No. Oh yes, here's one I made earlier. Right? This is a clay pot. What is the intelligent cause? The potter. And what is the material cause? Clay. Simple, really, right? It's not earth-shattering science, really. So this is a clay pot, and it's made. And the interesting thing about it is that the clay is considered to be permanent, and the pot is impermanent, because the clay of the pot was there before the pot was made. Correct? So in effect here, the clay is the material cause and the pot is the effect. The clay was there before the pot was made. The clay is here now in the form of a pot. And should this pot get crushed and added to a little bit of water again, we'll have the clay back again. So the clay is permanent, the cause is permanent, and the effect is transient, is temporary. All right? Now, Vedanta says that the cause, the underlying reality, is truth, satyam, and the effect is the illusion, mithya. All right? You say, it looks like a perfectly good pot to me, all right? And then I'll say to you, okay, you take the pot and I'll keep the clay. Right? How will you take the pot and for me to keep the clay? So what have we got here? We've got clay that temporarily, transiently, is in the form of a pot. All right? And this clay, we've just given a temporary name to this shape. This name and form we've called a pot. Okay? The clay has not changed. It's just changed in a little bit of design, right? It's still a pot. And this is a transient pot. I crush it and it becomes clay again. Right? So, is the pot real? Is the pot real? Well, it looks real. It's real for now. It's transient. Actually, it's not even real for now. The clay is real, currently in the shape of a pot, right? So the pot is a word. So this is a word. This is non-substantial. This is a currently word that we're using for clay in the shape of a pot, right? So when you look at the world, look at the cause of it, and you're saying what I'm looking at is the cause currently manifesting as this form to which I've given the name so-and-so. Right? That's how it works. For every single object that you can see is the effect, and there is an underlying cause of that effect. Is that clear? Yes?
Do you think then the inherent problem with understanding reality is the inadequacy of language as opposed to reality itself?
The language plays a large part, I have to say, because we really confuse ourselves with language. So, for instance, if we say a tall man, all right? Tall is an adjective, non-substantive. You would say tallness has a feel to it, all right? It's an adjective. It describes a noun. Man is the substantive. Man is the noun. And so, therefore, everybody understands tall man, all right? We use adjectives in order to separate classes of the same noun. So we would use steel chair if we wanted to differentiate it from a wooden chair or a plastic chair. Okay? We say a brown cow if there's black and white cows. Alright? That's how we use language. And later on we'll come to say, we say wooden table. That becomes a problem. That's where language falls down. Wooden table. What's the adjective? What's the noun? We're using wooden as the adjective to describe a wooden table as opposed to a plastic table. And we're saying the noun is a table. The noun is the effect. It's supposed to be substantive. right? But we're saying wooden table. Again, I could say to you, perfectly good wooden table, I love it. What is the weight of this wooden table? And you say 5 kilos. All right? 5 kilo wooden table. Would anybody like a 5 kilo wooden table? You may have the table, I'll keep the wood. Now, what weight is your table that you're going to take away? And what is the weight of the wood? The weight of the wood is 5 kilos. For now, it happens to be in the form of a table. If I was skillful, I could cut this all up and make a chair out of it. I could be the intelligent cause of a chair, and I would have a wooden chair. Where did the table go? This thing that was the noun in my previous sentence of a wooden table, the substantive, which is what nouns are, where did the table go if I now have a chair? Well, this is really important. The thing is that we need language in order to be able to describe things, in order to be able to talk to one another, describe the world around us. But you need to understand what it is that you're talking about. You need to understand the underlying cause and the effect, because everything in the world has a cause and effect.